Cricket presents The Campfire, and today we are heading to District 86A. The teams in this district include Arlington, Bowie, Sam Houston, Lamar, Martin, Grand Prairie, Haltom, and South Grand Prairie. Let's analyze this district in our film session. 86A adds one new team in Haltom, but the rest remain from Arlington and Grand Prairie ISD. Which, if history means anything, the Martin Warriors will be the team to beat once again this fall. They only return 3 starters on defense, but one of them is an absolute game changer in defensive end Jesse Ford. Athlete Brooks Brigance can be used as quarterback or receiver, but expect him to lead the Warriors offensively. The Volunteers of Bowie will have no issues on offense this year as they return 1,000-yard rusher Darian Bowers and highly recruited receiver Dylan Talley. It's the defense where the Vols will be extremely young. South Grand Prairie should be a player for the district title behind quarterback Dalen Brooks and running back Josiah Lucas. Arlington High has one of the district's best athletes in wide receiver Isaiah Robertson, but can their inexperienced defense earn them a postseason position? Billy Skinner's Lamar Vikings will look to wide receiver Trenton Yancey to make plays like he did last year when he caught 59 balls and scored 7 touchdowns. Haltom will look to an inexperienced linebacking core to sneak some wins in their new district. Grand Prairie and Sam Houston combined for 1 win a year ago, so there is much to improve in those programs for 2024. Freeflation leaves economists baffled. Getting more for less? It's true for those who switch to Cricket and get a free Samsung Galaxy A14 5G. Smile, you're on Cricket. Watching the game with friends? Don't forget to invite the all-new Whata Wings Party Pack from Whataburger. Order online today and get 72 boneless tender bites, a family fry box, and your choice of sauce.
The Campfire is brought to you by your Texas Kubota dealers, home of the #1 selling subcompact tractor in Texas. Kubota, together we do more.
For an even deeper look at 86A, here's producer Ward Fasold and insider Matt Diggs with the district breakdown.
All right, it's time for another district breakdown. We are moved to Arlington, the Arlington ISD District 86A. I'm joined by Diggsy again. Diggsy, this is a tough district to pick a long playoff run out of. Man, if I had told you, hey, pick one of these teams to go 3 rounds deep, you'll probably be absolutely silent and wouldn't say a word to me, and then all of a sudden we have a silent podcast. But tell me who you think is at least going to win this district, and then their chances of maybe going a round or 2.
You know, I think there's going to be a lot of focus and internal pressure in that Arlington Martin community because last year didn't really go the way that Arlington Martin wanted. A new coach over there, kind of what I call that Trinity pressure. You know, when you're taking over from a legend, everybody's expecting you to, why aren't you like this? And I think this year is opportunity for Arlington Martin to kind of establish a little bit more of their tone. I like Arlington Martin still at the top of this district. I know a lot of people are kind of talking about a dark horse, and we'll talk about that dark horse at number 2. But they've got a lot of good players coming back. Last year, they were very young, and I think that was a contributing factor to why Arlington Martin didn't have the Arlington Martin-like success. Everybody is talking about this defensive lineman, Jesse Ford. I mean, we're talking, Myles Garrett kind of comparisons to him, which is obviously good company to be in. But I mean, they've also got their quarterback coming back in Brooks Brigance, who had 1,000 yards passing, 846 yards rushing, and 19 touchdowns last year. And they've got Dalen Cobb coming back, their running back, who had 670 yards and 7 touchdowns. And they got 2 really talented receivers coming back. So a lot of that offensive infrastructure is there. When you got Jesse Ford on the defensive line, I mean, you can just, it's like playing 12 on 11 on defense with him out there.
Well, that's interesting. I don't know if you really committed yet to the 4 playoff teams, but you're going to do it now. Give me your 1 through 8.
I got number 1, Arlington Martin. Number 2, Arlington Bowie. I've got number 3, South Grand Prairie. I've got number 4, Arlington Lamar. I got Arlington just on the outside looking in at number 5. I've got Haltom number 6, Grand Prairie number 7, and Sam Houston at number 8.
We'll post the entire breakdown segment this Wednesday on our social media pages. Now let's take a look at some game changers and our players on the rise, brought to you by Parker University. At Arlington High, Isaiah Robertson is a big play waiting to happen. Head coach Scott Peach just needs to get the ball in Isaiah's hands in space and watch him go. Last year, Robertson scored 7 offensive touchdowns while tallying 42 catches. He also picked up 209 yards on the ground. Isaiah has over 40 career catches for the Colts and should get over 100 before he heads to SMU for his college ball. Another top-end receiver in 8-6A is Bowie's Dylan Talley. The Vols were a predominantly ground attack offense, but when they did toss it around, Talley was the main target. Dylan caught 37 balls for 559 yards and 3 touchdowns as a junior. He averaged over 15 yards per catch as he was Bowie's deep threat. Dylan received plenty of FBS interest before committing to Bowling Green. It's difficult not to gain positive yards when Bowie's big Ian Mays is blocking in front of you. At 6'3" and 270 pounds, Mays is an agile offensive lineman who, when he counterblocks, some unexpected defensive player is in a load of trouble. Ian is never done with a play until he hears the whistle or he has flattened you to the turf. Mays is heading to Tulsa for his college ball. At Martin, when they start comparing you to Warrior alum Myles Garrett, you know you have something. That's who Jesse Ford is reminding people of in high school. He's only a junior, but after his breakout sophomore year, the sky's the limit for this 6'5" defensive lineman. Jesse made 40 tackles and 7 sacks while forcing a couple fumbles. Because of his height, Ford also plays tight end for the Warriors. Players on the Rise is brought to you by Parker University. Check out our bachelor's degree in strength and human performance today.
The Campfire is presented by Cricket. Smile, you're on Cricket.
At Cricket, get free Samsung Galaxy phones.
The Campfire is brought to you by Golden Chick. One taste and you're golden. Our Ward Fasold caught up to Bowie head coach Joseph Sam to talk about the district and his Vols in our Media Day segment.
All right, it's Media Day. We are talking 8-6A with my guy Joseph Sam from Arlington, Bowie. We are talking about the Arlington district and really the only change in realignment. You got Haltom in there full-time. I know they were in there for hoops and some other sports last year, but when you look at the district and you see just Haltom coming in there, it's really just that Arlington and Grand Prairie type familiarity that you've had before. So when you, after realignment, how do you kind of take the district as a head coach of the football squad?
I think it's a good district. You know, all the teams are familiar with each other. Haltom is kind of the outsider, but I think Jason Tucker and those guys do an awesome job when it comes to, you know, their scheme, you know, offensive and defensively, because they're different than a traditional high school football team, you know, which will be exciting as a head coach because it's a different scheme. I haven't faced a scheme like theirs since I've been down in Houston. So, you know, that's great to as coaches, and I know he's going to have those guys coached up. You know, Martin still is the king of the district right now because they are the current district champion. And then you have, you know, Billy at Lamar doing a great job. Scott Peach has always done a great job at Arlington High. And, you know, Sam Houston and Grand Prairie are they may not be the most talented teams, but they're very well coached. So, you know, we got some backyard brawls because, you know, not only are the coaches are familiar with each other, but the kids are familiar with each other as well because, you know, they've grown up playing against each other since they're all from the same area.
Well, we'll see what happens. This thing starts next month. I appreciate you joining us, Coach. Man, I'm so ready for the season to start, and I know you are too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you having us, highlighting our program, and definitely highlighting our district as well.
No problem.
You can catch the entire interview Friday on our social media channels. That's going to do it for this week's Campfire. Next week, we take a look at 9-6A. Until then, have a great week, everybody.